Everyone starts their investment career at different times of life with different amounts of money. There's an old Chinese proverb that I love and kind of share often. It's the best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago, and the second best time to plant a tree is today. So in the context of today's video, it's never too late or never too soon to start investing. Whether it's a small denomination or whether it's a large denomination, ultimately, anything that you invest today hopefully is going to bear more fruit down the road. We're starting a new investing series right here that we're pretty excited about. What we're going to do is take different denominations of money, what I would do to invest in. I'm going to give you multiple tips, multiple asset classes that you can get involved in. We're going to start at $1,000 and we're going to work our way up to $100,000 and have multiple increments in between that. So thanks for joining us here today, guys. Welcome to the VIP Financial Education YouTube channel, where we help you go further, faster financially. I'm your host, Michael Matthew. Again, guys, we're really excited about this series. We know that we've got a pretty diverse range of individuals that watch our channel, and thank you all for joining us time and time again. But we also know that people are in those different stages in life, and there's absolutely no shame in starting small with $1,000. Even if, and ultimately you want to get a yield on that, whether you're investing $10 or $1,000 or $100,000, you're looking for a return on your investment. I think that it's important, and almost from a symbolic standpoint, that you're getting started, irregardless of where you are in your life, irregardless of what your age is. A lot of people just never get off the sidelines, right? So whether it's $1,000 or even less than that, most people never even have kind of that intestinal fortitude or the foresight to go out there and really invest in anything. So you're certainly a leg up from those kind of sideline folks, or that armchair quarterback that never goes out and deploys any capital. Now let's take a look at a handful of ideas on what I would do if I had $1,000 to invest right now. The first one is going to be called fractional stock investing. And basically what that is, you can buy kind of high-end, commonplace stocks right now like Amazon, Apple, Netflix, and you might not have necessarily enough to buy multiple shares of it, but you can invest any amount of money and the resources get pooled and you're in with other fractional investors. Obviously, your return on investment is going to be based on your initial investment up front, what percentage of any given stock that would be, and that's what your return is going to be. Now, this is great for beginning investors, again, that don't have a ton of capital to go out and buy a large position of shares in whatever stock choice that you would be looking at, but you can put in as little as $1. So, if you want to put $1 or $10 or $100 or $1,000 in it, you're obviously getting that fractional share of whatever that stock may be. There's a great company out there that I would recommend taking a look at. It's called Stash, S-T-A-S-H. This is great, again, for beginning investors that want to do this fractional type investing. And again, Stash will take as little as $1 as an investment. And they've also got a program where if you open up a new account with them, they will contribute $5 towards the stock of your choice. So again, guys, not a tremendous amount of money, but take a look at Stash. That's a good way to get started. I really do like fractional investing, particularly for new investors. So take a look there. That would be my number one recommendation. Number two is invest in life insurance policies. So there's a company out there called Bestow. That's B-E-S-T-O-W. Now, it's never too early to get started in life insurance policies. Life insurance is a way that you've got a small amount of money due up front in the form of the premium, and then obviously that's growing over time. The company Bestow out there can really get you into a multitude of different life insurance plans. They've got one out there right now that I found during the research, and you can find it online as well, where if you pay $10 per month, ultimately you can get a $1.5 million life insurance policy. So hopefully you're not going to need it anytime soon, but that's a great long-term investment, particularly if you've got a new family or you're thinking about starting a family. It's never too soon to start investing in a life insurance policy. Also take a look at Roth IRAs or 401ks. About 50% of corporate America right now offers a 401k match where you're putting in X amount of dollars out of your paycheck every month, tax-free, and then they're actually matching that. If you don't have access to that 401k match through your employer, take a look at a Roth IRA. IRAs are great, particularly for millennials to get started now saving and obviously building up that investment portfolio. It's really hard to say what your return is going to be on that over time, depending on how aggressive you get with your investment strategy on that. They can really custom make or tailor make that for you just based on really what you want to do, what stock classes you want to get involved in. We're always going to recommend that, particularly if you don't have an investment background in stocks or in retirement accounts like that, certainly go out and talk to your financial advisor. Try and get the most sound advice you can before you just pull the trigger and jump in the deep end. And again, with the Roth IRA, it's really hard to predict, again, just based on what your investment strategy is going to be. But on average, they do about 7 to 10% return annually. So obviously you're putting the money in now, and that money is growing over time. 7 to 10% is certainly not a bad return. Another great option for retirement investing is a product by JP Chase called You Invest. It's particularly good for kind of startup investors. With that product, there's 0% on commissions on stocks and ETFs. So it's a great way to take that $1,000, put it in there, and obviously have that grow over time. So definitely take a look at You Invest by JP Chase. The next recommendation I would say would be lend money to others. It's not the old school days anymore where in order to borrow money you have to go into your local bank or credit union, for example. There's a lot of peer-to-peer lending sites out there right now where you can say, I'm willing to lend X amount of dollars. These would be the terms. And there's people there on the other end as the borrower, if you will. You would be the lending institution in that instance. So you can make a fairly decent return on that. If you're borrowing, great thing to take a look at. If you're lending, definitely take a look at some peer-to-peer lending sites that are out there. They're all over the internet. Obviously, again, do your research. On average, some of these accounts, and I'm going to list a couple here below, you can make anywhere between about 7 and 11% return on your money. And let's just say it's 10%. If you invest $1,000 into that, your return would be $100, which doesn't sound like a tremendously significant amount of money. But again, the thing to take a look at, guys, particularly as a new investor, is you want to take a look at your return on investment, not necessarily the dollar figure. You can feed that money back into the capital that you're willing to invest. And again, next time 10%, if you kept that $100 in there, next time it's going to be $110, obviously, as opposed to $100. So that can certainly escalate over time. It would be considered a slightly risky venture though. So the biggest caveat is, since it's not, with an institutional lending or with an institutional lender, it would not be backed by the FDIC, for example. So there is not a tremendous amount of recourse on there other than bad press. So definitely buyer beware on that. I've got friends that have done peer-to-peer lending. I have not personally done that, but I've heard pretty good experiences with it. I have heard a couple negative ones though, so that would be the big time caveat would be the fact that it is not FDIC backed, for example. A couple that I would recommend would one be called LendingClub and the other would be called Prosper, and they will take on lenders for as little as $2,500. So if you want to spread that $1,000 out, with multiple borrowers on there, obviously that $1,000 is certainly going to go a long way. Next would be invest in a single stock. So go out there, do your research, obviously talk to experts, friends and family that may have a little bit more experience investing in the stock market than you do, particularly if you're just getting started. Now, $1,000, you're probably not going to have enough to go out and buy, some of those higher ticket stocks. But you can certainly spread that out and maybe deploy it to, 2 or 3 stocks or even just one, that you may have an interest in. So again, do your research on that before you just deploy the $1,000, but there's plenty of stocks out there that you can pick up a decent position for $1,000. Some platforms that I would recommend on that would be, again, the You Invest, the JP Chase platform. Robinhood would be certainly one that I would take a look at, although they just had an awful IPO. Haven't dug too deeply into that, but I did see some bad news on their behalf. E-Trade is a great one. It's really easy, really simple to invest in stocks, very user-friendly. So I would definitely take a look at E-Trade as well. And one of the great things about E-Trade is they've actually started doing 0% commission on trades. So, again, you're always looking for ways you can make that $1,000 go a lot further. not paying commissions would certainly be one to take a hard look at. The next would be invest in real estate. We do a ton of videos on here, obviously, about real estate investing. Most of them you would assume that you had to have a significant amount of money to get involved in it, but I'm going to give you a few that $1,000 would certainly be able to play into. One is going to be a REIT. We've talked about this on a previous video. We'll go ahead and drop the link on that. But a REIT is a real estate investment trust. Now, a REIT is going to operate kind of like a stock. You can buy them through traditional channels and brokerages, of course. Now, a REIT is also one of the very few ways that, particularly a new investor, can get involved in the commercial real estate market. You definitely want to take a look at publicly traded REITs, and with that $1,000, obviously you can get a percentage of whatever commercial property that REIT was in control of, and you can also pull your money out very easily over time without having to sell property, which is a great way to invest in real estate because if and when you do decide you want to get out, then the next step does not necessarily have to mean listing a property, talking to an agent, talking to a broker, hoping you find the buyer. So it eliminates a lot of that headache, and obviously you can get in for less than $1,000 on REITs. So REITs would certainly be a hot recommendation. Now this next one would be crowdfunding real estate. Now crowdfunding real estate has gotten a lot more popular these days as well. Again, it's that fractional investment method where you're putting in X amount of dollars. In this case, we're going to call it $1,000. That goes towards a project that a commercial developer would be taking a look at, and they're getting as many folks to obviously invest in that as possible. With $1,000, you meet the minimum requirement to get involved in platforms such as Streetwise, and that's STREITWISE, hence the REIT, just like the REIT, and also Fundrise, that's FUNDRISE. With as little as $1,000, you can get involved in either of those platforms and start doing crowdfunding real estate investments. The one caveat to this would be this is more of a long-term investment play, so if you're looking to get in, invest, maybe do kind of a quicker cash grab, this would not necessarily, the crowdfunding would not really be applicable to that. That's not that quick in and out. Most people are recommending that if you're going to get involved in something like this, you want to be able to hang on for a minimum of approximately 5 years. So if you're a new investor, you're trying to get in and out, get your returns, maybe put it into something else, this would not be one that I would recommend. The next would be open a CD. That's a certificate of deposit, so $1,000 in that, and that's typically going to have a higher return than just a standard savings rate. So $1,000 into a CD would certainly be something to take a look at. CDs last anywhere from 28 to 10 years. You can go in and buy them directly for as little as $1,000 from an institutional bank, and then you're hanging on to them obviously for that period of time, whatever is determined up front. During that predetermined period of time, so it is a fixed time period, you cannot pull that money out without paying a penalty. So you are going to get a fixed interest rate just based on the individual bank, but you are going to get that return over time. If you do pull it out any sooner than that fixed period, you are going to pay a penalty with that. So definitely a caveat with a CD. The next would be to trade options. So with as little as $1,000, you can get in there and basically you're speculating. So you're trying to anticipate what the market is going to do, up or down. So trading options is certainly can be lucrative. You can take that $1,000 and turn it into significantly more money, but it's also that speculation aspect of it certainly could lead to you losing that entire investment as well. So trading options is certainly something to take a hard look at, but just know kind of the pitfalls or the perils of it as well. Trading options is great because you're able to take advantage of changing market conditions, whether they're going up or down. So there's certainly, some multiple ways to really kind of skin the cat on that. And you can invest in two different types of options. One's called a call option and one's called a put option. And these options expire on a specified date. So you're forecasting when it's either going to go up or down, and it has to happen by a finite date. A call option allows you to buy a stock at a specified predetermined price, but again, you're not required to do so. And a put option will allow you to sell a stock at a specified price, but again, you are not forced to do so there as well. In the past, a lot of people have thought that they were not able to get involved in investing to any extent if they had a limited amount of capital. We're doing this investing series here. We're starting with $1,000 today. Hopefully you guys have taken a handful of these, particularly if you're just getting out of the gate. Again, guys, do your research, but I think that this video should go to show you can take a couple nuggets from this. It should go to show you that there are options right now. You do not have to stay on the sidelines until you get significant money. So $1,000 today, you've got a handful of options on the video that we've presented today. We love going out there and doing the research. We're going to be coming back here shortly with our next video, which is going to be on a $5,000. If you've got $5,000 worth of capital to invest, love doing the research on your behalf, guys. Excited for all you new investors out there that might take some of this and run with it. As always, we're going to encourage you to do your own research. Talk to professionals, if you will. If you like information like this, you're excited about the series that we're going to be starting with this video, go ahead and smash that thumbs up button below, guys. That really helps out our algorithms. If you're not a subscriber, go ahead and subscribe. We're always looking for new like-minded people here on the channel. And of course, ding that bell notification below if you want alerts as we're dropping new videos out here on the VIP Financial Education YouTube channel, one of the most trusted sources on YouTube for all things credit, capital, and cash flow. Until next time, thanks for joining, guys. Make it a great day.